Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And you know, there have been lots of questions from my colleagues about the process and the failures of a protocol, et cetera. And many people have commented about the absence of Secretary Napolitano, and I would associate myself with those remarks. However, I will also say that it is stunning to me that Attorney General Holder or nobody from the Department of Justice is here to talk to this committee and to testify to this committee. And I would respectfully request that at some point he does testify before this committee. That's our responsibility, is to have oversight. And I want to focus, I think, on what has happened since the attempted act of war, because that's what it was. It wasn't a criminal act. It was an act of war by a terrorist, an enemy combatant. I was stunned that this terrorist was not turned over to the military. And again, I'm just incredibly dismayed. No one from the DOJ is here. And yet it was they, under the direction of Attorney General Holder, that made this decision to turn this terrorist over to the FBI and not as an enemy combatant. He made the decision. And I believe that the Attorney General is creating a culture at the Department of Justice that fosters an ideology of approaching this war on terror like a simple police action. And I will cite a couple of examples of why I say that, because I do believe it's dangerous to our security. And I'm very concerned about it. We know, for instance, that before becoming the Attorney General, Eric Holder and his law firm represented accused terrorists that were in the custody of the military, and he urged their release to the civilian justice system, and that includes Jose Padilla, and they were very proud about giving free pro bono legal service to 17 Yemenis and 1 Pakistani who currently are at Gitmo. We know that he and President Obama have placed many of these attorneys in high-ranking positions at the Justice Department. Again, attorneys that provided free top-flight legal assistance to enemy detainees. I mean, my husband's an attorney. I know a lot of attorneys. You might have pro bono work for a child abuse case, domestic violence case. This is what they decided they wanted to give free legal advice to, enemy detainees. We also know that the Attorney General has stonewalled Senator Grassley, who is attempting to discover who these high-ranking justice officials are and what their role is in making these decisions. We know that the Attorney General has been a huge advocate to close Gitmo and to bring these detainees to the United States. We know that the Attorney General has made the decision to bring KSM and others implicated in the 9/11 conspiracy to New York City for a trial without consulting any security officials in New York or other high-ranking officials in the military or intelligence communities. My ranking member mentioned that he had not consulted them. Actually, I think it was on the Jim Lehrer show where he said he consulted his wife and his brother before he made that decision. So I have concern with that. We also know that in this instance, the Attorney General did not share, in the instance of the Christmas Day bomber, that he did not share the intelligence gleaned from the Christmas Day bomber with the military or intelligence officials before giving the Miranda rights to this terrorist. I know the President has said that no one is accountable or that no one will be held accountable, no single person, but I believe that President Obama must hold Attorney General Eric Holder responsible for the loss of additional intelligence that would have been gained to protect our citizens from future attacks. He has been rather flippant, I would say, in saying that he's not afraid of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed being given a platform to spout his anti-American rants in our justice system. He says we have nothing to fear from giving terrorists constitutional rights and access to our court. I disagree. I am the only member on this committee from the Detroit area. And this incident may have faded in the front of many papers, newspapers, and media across our nation. But I'll tell you, in Detroit, we are looking every single day at this terrorist, this enemy combatant, an act of war against America, who was treated at the University of Michigan Burn Center, which is probably the best burn center in the entire world, and not only given one free court-appointed, taxpayer-funded attorney, he has three attorneys, and we are looking every day at what's happening at the federal building in the city of Detroit, all of the expense that is being taken on by the Detroit Police Department at a time they can't afford that kind of expense, and other security officials, just to make sure that we have no incident there. And the first thing this guy hears when he gets off the airplane is, you have the right to remain silent, and here's your great justice system that we're having here in America. It makes me crazy. And in the absence of anyone from the Department of Justice, let me just ask Director Leiter, do you think that Attorney General's Eric Holder's decision to Mirandize this guy denied us the opportunity to garner very valuable information? And do you think that if we got a terrorist in Afghanistan or Yemen or in theater, and we only interrogated him for 50 minutes, that would be adequate?
Congressman, I'll try to answer, of course. I mean, I'm not from the Department of Justice. One thing I do want to correct, though, I don't believe it is correct that the information that was garnered during those initial 50 minutes of interrogation was not shared with the intelligence community or the Department of Defense. And I say that because I was on the video teleconference that evening. And
if you could, just a moment. I recognize he did share the information, but he did not share the information that he was going to Mirandize this. That was my point. Nobody was asked about that. That was Attorney General Eric Holder's decision, apparently.
I apologize, Congressman. I understood. I just did want to make clear that the information that they garnered was immediately shared with the intelligence community and was put to action. And I think there was information that was garnered from that initial 50 minutes of interrogation that has been quite valuable.
Well, my time has expired, so I will just simply say that, Mr. Chairman, we are facing a new type of enemy who doesn't consider the battlefield to be just in Yemen or in theater. The battlefield that day was seat 19A on that Northwest flight, and these are enemy combatants, and I think it is, I think it is dangerous for America to treat them as civil criminals. Thank you.